Did you know? There's far more to farting than just awkward moments or schoolyard jokes. For most people, flatulence is something to snicker at or pretend didn't happen. But when you really stop to look at it, farting is one of the most fascinating, revealing, and even beneficial things your body does every single day. Beneath the laughs and the embarrassment, there's real science happening inside you. Physics, biology, chemistry, and even health benefits you probably never thought about. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the world of flatulence and explore 8 little-known facts that will make you see this natural process in a completely new light. Let's start with the first surprising fact. You fart more when flying. If you've ever felt unusually bloated or gassy on a plane, you're not imagining it. As the aircraft ascends to cruising altitude, the cabin is pressurized to levels much lower than what you experience at ground level. That reduced cabin pressure causes the gases inside your intestines to expand. This is a simple law of physics in action. As external pressure drops, internal gases take up more space. Your digestive system, already full of partially digested food and naturally produced gases, has nowhere for that expanding air to go except out. The result? More frequent flatulence during your flight. People often blame airplane food for the sudden increase in gas. And while meals can contribute, the primary culprit is actually the pressure change. Foods that normally wouldn't bother you on the ground can create quite the storm at 35,000 feet because the gases inside your gut are literally swelling. Even seasoned travelers and flight attendants quietly admit it. Airplane cabins are a kind of invisible orchestra of suppressed gas. Understanding this phenomenon can take away some of the embarrassment. It's not that you're suddenly more gassy than everyone else. It's simply physics, working the same way for every human on board. So next time you feel uncomfortable mid-flight, take a deep breath, shift in your seat, and remember, it's normal. Your body is just reacting to altitude, not misbehaving. Now on to the second remarkable fact. Farts actually have health benefits. That's right, something so universally joked about is actually a built-in maintenance feature for your digestive system. Passing gas relieves pressure in your intestines, reducing bloating and discomfort. Think of it like letting steam out of a pressure cooker. Without that release, your digestive system would struggle to maintain comfort and function. But the benefits don't end there. Recent scientific studies have shown that one of the main components of smelly gas, hydrogen sulfide, might play a surprising protective role in the human body. In small controlled amounts, this compound can actually help safeguard cells from damage. Researchers have been exploring how low doses of hydrogen sulfide may reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, potentially lowering the risk of certain chronic conditions. The science is still developing, but it suggests that the occasional whiff of your own emissions might not be as bad as you think. Your body could be using that compound as a signaling molecule to maintain cellular health. In a way, farting is not just expelling gas. It's participating in your body's natural system of balance. The idea that something so funny and even embarrassing could have hidden benefits is oddly comforting. It reframes flatulence from a social taboo into a sign that your digestive system is functioning and your microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your gut, is hard at work breaking down food. Every bubble of gas is the end product of a massive, invisible collaboration happening inside you. Of course, that doesn't mean holding it in is a good idea. This brings us to our third fact. Holding in farts can be harmful. Everyone has been there, at a meeting, on a date, in a classroom, and suddenly you feel pressure building in your stomach. You tighten your muscles, hoping to postpone the inevitable. Once in a while, that's harmless, but making a habit of suppressing your body's natural urge to expel gas can lead to uncomfortable consequences. When gas builds up inside your intestines, it stretches the intestinal walls and creates bloating, pressure, and sometimes sharp pain. If you continue to hold it in, the gas doesn't just disappear. It may be reabsorbed into your bloodstream, or it can be forced into areas of the digestive tract where it causes even more discomfort. And when you finally do release it, the odor may be stronger because the gases have had more time to concentrate. In extreme and chronic cases, repeatedly suppressing flatulence can contribute to conditions like diverticulitis, inflammation or infection of small pouches in the colon. While this is relatively rare, it highlights an important point. When nature calls, it's generally best to answer, even if you have to do so discreetly. Your digestive system is designed to expel waste gases. Denying it that function only delays the inevitable and increases discomfort. This ties directly to our fourth fact. The average person farts 14 times a day. That number might sound high to some people and low to others, but it's based on scientific observation. In reality, most humans pass gas anywhere between 10 and 20 times every single day. That adds up to roughly half a liter to 2 liters of gas moving through and out of your digestive system in a 24-hour period. It's not always audible and it's not always smelly, but it's happening. Think about that for a moment. Even the most refined, composed person you know is silently participating in this daily process. It's as universal as breathing, sleeping, or blinking. Flatulence is a normal byproduct of digestion, caused by swallowing air while eating and drinking, by chemical reactions in your gut, and by bacterial fermentation of food you've consumed. This is particularly true with foods rich in fiber or complex carbohydrates, which your body cannot fully digest on its own. Instead, gut bacteria break these foods down, producing gases like hydrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide as a result, far from being a sign of poor health. Regular flatulence is an indicator that your digestive system is active and your microbiome is healthy. In fact, people who eat more fiber, often considered a hallmark of a good diet, tend to produce more gas. It's simply a side effect of nourishing those beneficial bacteria. When you frame it that way, gas becomes less of a nuisance and more of a badge of dietary honor. You're fueling your body with the foods it needs, and this is the natural result. Another interesting detail about that average number is how variable it can be. People who consume large amounts of legumes, whole grains, or vegetables might easily exceed 20 instances per day, while people on lower fiber diets might produce less. Even stress, hydration, and how quickly you eat your meals can influence the amount of gas in your system. Eating too fast can cause you to swallow more air, while carbonated drinks literally inject bubbles into your digestive tract. All these factors combine to create your personal gas profile. Understanding these first 4 facts, the effect of flying, the health benefits of passing gas, the risks of holding it in, and the average daily output, starts to change how we think about flatulence. It stops being a random, embarrassing occurrence and starts to look like a predictable, even essential part of human biology. Your digestive system is an incredibly complex and efficient machine, and every burp or fart is just one more sign of the invisible processes keeping you alive and healthy. By looking at these aspects closely, you also begin to see how interconnected your environment, your habits, and your internal health really are. Something as simple as altitude or dietary fiber can dramatically change what's happening inside your body. Far from being just a source of awkwardness, flatulence is a kind of feedback system telling you how your gut is doing. When you feel bloated on a plane, that's physics. When your gas smells stronger after a high-protein meal, that's chemistry. When you feel better after passing gas, that's biology at work. And all of this is just the beginning. There's still much more to discover about the speed of flatulence, its flammable potential, how diet affects its smell, and why some farts seem silent but deadly while others announce themselves to the room. Each of these aspects opens another window into the fascinating, underappreciated science of the human body. Let's continue our journey into the often misunderstood world of flatulence by diving into the next fascinating aspects: the speed, the chemistry, and the energy potential of the gases your body produces. These facts don't just surprise people. They completely change how you see an everyday bodily function. One of the most jaw-dropping details about flatulence is its speed. Farts travel at an impressive velocity, much faster than most people would expect. We're not talking about a slow, lazy drift of gas into the air. When you release a fart, it can shoot out of your body at up to 10 feet per second, roughly 7 miles per hour. That's quick enough to rival the running speed of some small animals. If you've ever imagined gas leaving your body like a faint mist, picture instead a miniature jet of compressed air being released in a fraction of a second. Why is it so fast? It's all about pressure. Inside your intestines, gas builds up gradually, stretching and pressing against the walls of your gut. When you finally release it, you're essentially uncorking a pressurized container. Just like a champagne bottle pops and fizzes when opened, your body sends that gas out at speed. The rectal sphincter, a ring of muscle at the end of your digestive tract, controls the release. Its quick relaxation combined with internal pressure creates that burst of velocity. This speed is also why you can sometimes feel or even hear the gas moving as it leaves. The vibration of the surrounding tissues combined with the rush of air produces the sounds we all recognize. Interestingly, scientists studying flatulence have found that speed alone doesn't determine how loud a fart is. It's the interaction between speed, muscle tension, and the tightness of the opening that creates the familiar notes. That's why some can be thunderously loud while others escape almost silently. Now we've established that farts come out fast. But here's another unexpected truth. Farts are flammable. This is where the chemistry comes in. Among the mix of gases your digestive system produces are hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and methane. While the exact proportions vary from person to person and even meal to meal, methane, a highly flammable gas, can make up around 7% of your fart's content. Hydrogen, also flammable, sometimes appears in measurable quantities as well. This chemical cocktail is what leads to the infamous stories of people attempting to light their farts on fire, a dangerous and strongly discouraged activity. While it's true the gas is combustible, the risks far outweigh the entertainment value. Still, the fact remains, your body is producing a renewable energy source every day. Methane is the same gas used in natural gas pipelines to heat homes and power stoves. When you think about it, that's pretty astonishing. Your digestive tract is essentially a tiny, organic gas factory. But beyond the jokes, this property has practical implications. Some wastewater treatment plants and biogas facilities capture methane from decomposing human and animal waste, then use it to generate electricity. It's not exactly running your home on human farts, but it's close. The same gases that escape your body are being harvested from sewage systems to produce clean energy. In places around the world, this approach has already turned waste into a valuable resource. So while lighting your own farts is a bad idea, the principle behind it is being harnessed to power communities and reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. Next, let's explore how your diet directly shapes the smell of your farts. Because this is where chemistry and nutrition intersect in a fascinating way. People often joke about beans, but the truth is more nuanced. Foods like beans do indeed create more gas, because they contain complex carbohydrates your body can't fully digest without help from gut bacteria. However, the gas produced from beans tends to be largely odorless. It's mostly hydrogen and carbon dioxide, gases that lack a strong smell. The foods that really pack an olfactory punch are those rich in sulfur. Eggs, red meat, garlic, onions, and cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage all contain sulfur compounds. When your gut bacteria break these compounds down, they produce hydrogen sulfide, the same gas responsible for the characteristic rotten egg smell. Even in tiny concentrations, hydrogen sulfide can be incredibly potent. This is why a small, quiet fart after a sulfur-heavy meal can be far more noticeable than a loud one after a bean-based lunch. Adjusting your diet can have a significant effect on both the quantity and quality of your gas. People who increase their intake of fresh vegetables, whole grains, and legumes often notice an increase in volume, but not necessarily in smell. Conversely, those who eat large amounts of protein and sulfur-rich foods may find their emissions are less frequent, but far more pungent. It's a direct reflection of the chemistry happening in your intestines. Your body is literally converting your meals into different kinds of gases. This also highlights an important truth about your digestive system. It's unique. Everyone has a slightly different microbiome, the mix of bacteria in your gut. This means two people can eat the exact same meal and produce very different gas profiles. One might have more methane-producing bacteria, while another has more hydrogen sulfide producers. Some people's bacteria are highly efficient at breaking down fiber, creating a lot of volume but little smell. Others may generate less gas overall, but a much more potent scent. Understanding this individuality can help you make sense of your own digestive quirks. Now, let's touch on a topic many people have wondered about, but few discuss openly. Why silent farts often smell worse than loud ones. It seems counterintuitive. You'd think the louder the sound, the stronger the smell. But in practice, it's often the quietest ones that are the most potent. The reason comes down to muscle control and gas concentration. When you try to release a fart quietly, maybe because you're in a public space or don't want to draw attention, you tend to tighten the muscles of your rectum. This creates a smaller opening and forces the gas to come out more slowly. In the process, the gas is also more concentrated because it hasn't mixed with as much surrounding air. Less dispersion means a higher density of odor-causing compounds when it finally escapes. On the other hand, a loud fart often results from a quick release through a wider opening, allowing the gas to disperse rapidly. More air mixes in, diluting the smell. That's why a thunderous release may cause embarrassment but not necessarily an olfactory assault, whereas a tiny, sneaky release can linger like a ghost. Understanding this dynamic can actually reduce the mystery of your own body. You're not imagining it. The physics of gas dispersion really does make quiet ones smellier. The interplay of speed, volume, and chemical composition turns something as ordinary as a fart into a complex natural event. You've got physics controlling the pressure and speed, chemistry shaping the combustibility and smell, and biology, in the form of your gut microbiome, dictating how much of each compound you produce. When you see it this way, flatulence stops being just a bodily function and starts looking like a living experiment happening inside you every day. Even your posture and movements can affect how gas travels. Sitting can compress parts of your abdomen and make it harder for gas to move freely, while standing or walking may help it escape more naturally. This is one reason why people often feel relief after a short walk post-meal. Movement helps move gas through the intestines and prevents uncomfortable buildup. It's a subtle reminder that our bodies are designed for activity, not for sitting still for long periods. And just as your position influences the movement of gas, so does your emotional state. Stress can alter gut motility, slow digestion, and change the way your microbiome behaves, which in turn affects gas production. That's why some people feel bloated or gassy when anxious. The mind and the gut are directly linked through the nervous system. In a very real sense, your emotions can change the way you fart. By now, we've uncovered the speed of flatulence, its flammable potential, the dietary effects on smell, and why silent farts can be the sneakiest of all. Each piece of the puzzle reveals another layer of complexity in something that at first glance seems so simple. And we're still not done. There's even more to learn about how this natural process reflects your health, your environment, and your habits, turning what was once a source of embarrassment into a fascinating window into your own biology. We've covered a lot about the speed, the chemistry, and the sneaky power of silent farts. But the story doesn't end there. Farting is more than just a funny quirk of human biology. It's also a mirror that reflects your diet, your health, and even your lifestyle choices. As we move into this next section, let's take everything we've learned and push even deeper into the science and everyday realities of flatulence. And before we go any further, if you've been enjoying this exploration, drop the word fart down in the comments to let us know you're still with us and ready to keep going. Let's begin by looking at something people rarely think about: the relationship between your gut bacteria and your gas. Every person carries trillions of microorganisms in their digestive tract. These bacteria, fungi, and even viruses form a complex ecosystem known as the microbiome. It's this community of microbes that helps you digest food, produce vitamins, and maintain immune health. When you eat, you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding them. And in the process of breaking down your meals, these bacteria produce gases as a natural byproduct. Different bacteria produce different gases. Some specialize in creating hydrogen, others in methane, and still others in sulfur compounds. This is why two people can eat the exact same dish and have completely different digestive outcomes. One person may have more bloating, another may have more smell, and another may feel almost nothing at all. Your gas is essentially a chemical signature of your gut ecosystem. This also means that major lifestyle changes can alter your flatulence over time. If you start a high-fiber diet, your gut bacteria will adapt, and you may initially experience more gas as new bacterial populations grow. Over weeks or months, however, the system stabilizes, and your gas may decrease or change character. Likewise, switching to a high-protein, low-carb diet can change your gut bacteria and, as a result, the odor and frequency of your farts. Understanding this connection can help you anticipate and manage changes in your digestion as your diet evolves. Another fascinating angle is how your age affects flatulence. Babies and children often produce more gas because their digestive systems are still developing and learning to handle different foods. As people age, changes in enzyme production, gut motility, and microbiome diversity can also shift the way gas is produced and expelled. Older adults might notice differences in smell, frequency, or comfort levels compared to their younger years. This is not necessarily a sign of poor health, just one more way our bodies adapt and change over time. But flatulence isn't just about what's going on inside your gut. It's also about how you live your life. For example, physical activity can help regulate gas. Moving your body, walking after meals, stretching, or engaging in light exercise helps your intestines move food and gas along more efficiently. Sedentary lifestyles can slow this process, leading to more bloating and discomfort. In a way, exercise is not just good for your muscles and heart, it's also good for your digestive comfort. Hydration is another underappreciated factor. When you're dehydrated, digestion slows, and stools can become harder, which can trap gas behind them. Drinking enough water throughout the day helps everything flow more smoothly, reducing the pressure buildup that leads to uncomfortable bloating or excessive flatulence. Think of water as the lubricant for your digestive system. Without it, things simply move slower, and gas has more time to build up. Next, let's look at the social side of farting, because this is where science meets culture. Across the world, people react to flatulence in dramatically different ways. In some cultures, passing gas is seen as a natural bodily function that doesn't warrant shame, while in others it's a serious breach of etiquette. Historical records even show that some ancient societies treated farting as humorous entertainment, with jokes, plays, and poems celebrating the act. Interestingly, flatulence has been used as a form of medical diagnosis for centuries. In traditional medicine, the smell and frequency of a person's gas was sometimes interpreted as a sign of their digestive health. While modern medicine uses far more precise tests, doctors still pay attention to digestive symptoms like bloating, discomfort, and changes in bowel habits, all of which can include changes in flatulence. Your gas, in other words, is still a clue to your overall health. Now, let's touch on a subject most people don't associate with farting at all: mental health and stress. The gut-brain axis, the communication network between your digestive system and your nervous system, is incredibly powerful. Anxiety, stress, and emotional upheaval can all change how your intestines work. Stress hormones can slow digestion or increase gut sensitivity, making you more aware of gas moving through your system. This can create a feedback loop where the discomfort causes more anxiety, which in turn worsens the symptoms. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, or even simply taking time to relax after meals can help regulate your digestion and reduce uncomfortable gas buildup. It's a reminder that farting isn't just physical, it's also connected to your emotional state. When you take care of your mind, you're also taking care of your gut. Now consider the evolutionary perspective of flatulence. Gas production is not unique to humans. Almost every animal with a digestive system produces gas in some form. From insects to elephants, flatulence is a universal byproduct of breaking down food. Some species even use it as a defense mechanism. Termites in cows produce enormous amounts of methane due to their unique digestive systems. And marine biologists have recorded sea creatures expelling gas as part of buoyancy control or communication behaviors. For humans, farting may have once served as a subtle indicator of gut health within a group or family. A healthy, well-fed individual produces more gas than a malnourished one, so the smells and sounds of digestion may have acted as primitive signals long before language evolved. While this is speculative, it shows how something we now see as embarrassing could once have been a normal part of daily life, just like breathing or sweating. Another intriguing dimension is the art and humor of farting throughout history. Medieval jesters, ancient playwrights, and even modern comedians have all used flatulence as a way to break tension, make audiences laugh, or satirize social norms. It's the great equalizer. No matter your status, everyone farts. This universality has made it a source of both humor and connection across time and cultures. Understanding the science behind it only deepens the amusement, because you realize that behind every punchline is real chemistry, biology, and physics. And yet, despite its universality, farting remains one of the most taboo topics in many social circles. This taboo can make people feel embarrassed about a completely natural process. By learning the science and normalizing the conversation, we strip away some of that shame. We can laugh at it, yes, but we can also appreciate it as a vital bodily function, as ordinary and necessary as sneezing or yawning. Finally, let's circle back to you, the listener. The next time you feel a bit gassy after a meal or during a flight, remember everything you've learned so far. The pressure changes, the gut bacteria, the chemical makeup, the cultural context. Remember that you're not alone. Everyone is participating in the same invisible biological dance. And remember, it's not a sign of something wrong, but a sign of something very right. Your body working hard to keep you balanced and healthy. So, as we continue exploring this fascinating topic, don't forget to leave a comment with the word fart down below. It's a fun way to show you're part of this conversation, and it might even help break the taboo. After all, if we can talk about it openly, we can understand it better, laugh about it together, and maybe even feel a little more connected through our shared humanity. There's still one more part to come, where we'll wrap everything up with more surprising facts, tips, and a deeper look at how understanding flatulence can actually improve your quality of life. We'll touch on how to manage excessive gas, how to listen to your body for signs of digestive issues, and how to embrace this natural process without shame. We've journeyed through the science of flatulence, from altitude effects to microbiomes, from the chemistry of smell to the cultural meanings hidden in every puff of gas. Now let's bring it all together and go even deeper into the practical side. What your farts can tell you about your health, how to manage excessive gas without shame, and how to use this knowledge to live more comfortably and confidently. First, let's talk about what your farts can signal about your digestive health. Because while flatulence is normal and healthy, sudden changes in frequency, smell, or pain level can sometimes hint at something worth checking out. For example, a sudden increase in very foul-smelling gas along with abdominal pain could indicate an imbalance in your gut bacteria or a food intolerance. Persistent bloating and discomfort could also point to conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, lactose intolerance, celiac disease, or malabsorption issues. This doesn't mean you should panic about every change. but it does mean your farts are like a built-in feedback system. Paying attention to them, frequency, smell, and timing can help you notice patterns. Did the smell change after introducing a new supplement? Did bloating increase after a change in your diet? These clues can help you adjust your habits or discuss concerns with a healthcare professional. Next, let's look at practical ways to manage excessive or uncomfortable gas without shame. One of the simplest steps is adjusting your eating habits. Eating slowly, chewing thoroughly, and avoiding excessive talking while eating reduces the amount of air you swallow, which in turn reduces gas buildup. Another simple fix: avoid gulping carbonated drinks, which literally inject bubbles into your digestive tract. Then there's the question of diet composition. We've already talked about how fiber-rich foods produce more gas but are also healthier. You don't have to give up these foods. Instead, introduce them gradually so your gut bacteria can adapt. For people with sensitivities, keeping a food diary can help identify trigger foods. Lactose, certain artificial sweeteners, and high-fat meals are common culprits that can increase bloating or smelly gas. Probiotics, the beneficial bacteria found in fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and sauerkraut, may also help balance your gut flora. While research is ongoing, many people find that probiotics reduce digestive discomfort over time. When your microbiome is balanced, gas may still be present but less intense or uncomfortable. Another underappreciated factor is body position. Gentle movement after meals, like walking or stretching, can help gas move through your intestines more smoothly. Certain yoga poses, such as knees to chest or gentle twists, are nicknamed wind-relieving poses for a reason. They massage your digestive organs and make it easier for trapped gas to escape naturally. If you've ever noticed how a short stroll after dinner feels better than slouching on the couch, that's your digestive system responding positively to movement. Hydration again plays a role. Drinking water throughout the day, especially between meals, keeps your digestive system running smoothly and prevents constipation, which can trap gas. Even something as simple as maintaining good posture while sitting can reduce abdominal pressure and let your intestines function without unnecessary compression. Now let's step back and appreciate the bigger picture of flatulence as a natural process. We tend to treat it as something shameful, but when you understand the science, you see it differently. Flatulence is a sign that your digestive system, your microbiome, and your metabolism are all active and doing their jobs. It's as normal as perspiration when you're hot or yawning when you're tired. In fact, some scientists think that normalizing conversation around farting could actually improve public health. When people aren't embarrassed to talk about digestive symptoms, they're more likely to seek help when something's wrong. Just as society has learned to openly discuss mental health or exercise, normalizing digestive health, including flatulence, could encourage earlier diagnosis of serious conditions and a healthier approach to diet and lifestyle. There's also a powerful environmental dimension to this topic. Methane emissions from animals, especially cows, are a major contributor to greenhouse gases. Understanding the chemistry of digestion and the gases produced helps scientists develop ways to reduce those emissions. For example, by adjusting livestock diets or using additives that change the gut microbiome of cattle. This shows how studying something as basic as flatulence can have global implications for climate change and sustainability. On a more personal level, knowing the science can help you embrace your body with humor and curiosity rather than shame. Everyone, regardless of age, status, or culture, produces gas. Even celebrities and athletes who seem larger than life have the same biology. When you realize that, it's easier to laugh, relax, and not feel so self-conscious about something completely natural. If you've been following along through this whole series, you've probably noticed a shift in how you feel about flatulence. At first, it's a punchline. Then it becomes fascinating, then empowering. And maybe now you see how your gas is not just an awkward moment, but a sign of life. A sign that your body is alive, metabolizing, digesting, and thriving. As we wrap up, let's recap a few practical tips to keep your digestive system, and therefore your flatulence, healthy. Eat slowly and chew thoroughly to reduce swallowed air. Limit excessive carbonated drinks. Introduce high-fiber foods gradually to allow your microbiome to adapt. Stay hydrated throughout the day. Incorporate gentle movement or stretching after meals. Pay attention to stress management and relaxation. Techniques to calm your gut-brain axis. Consider probiotics or fermented foods to support gut bacteria balance. Use your farts as feedback, not as something to hide from. Patterns matter. And remember, while occasional discomfort or changes are normal, persistent pain, dramatic odor changes, or significant bloating should prompt a conversation with a healthcare professional. Your digestive health is an essential part of your overall well-being, and your body gives you signals, sometimes literally, when something needs attention. There's also a lighter side to all of this. Humor itself can be therapeutic. Sharing a laugh about farting with friends or family can reduce stress, strengthen social bonds, and normalize natural bodily functions. Many people remember moments when a shared laugh about a silly sound eased tension or brought people closer together. Embracing that side of human nature can help you feel more connected and less anxious about your body. As we conclude this deep dive into the world of flatulence, take a moment to appreciate just how incredible your digestive system really is. Every meal you eat sets off a complex chain reaction of enzymes, bacteria, and chemistry, all working together to extract nutrients, eliminate waste, and keep you alive. Gas is just one of the harmless byproducts of that amazing process. And if you've made it all the way through to this final part, you're clearly as curious as we are. Go ahead and type the word fart down in the comments one more time, not just as a playful signal that you've watched to the end, but as a way of saying you're in on the secret, that understanding your body makes you stronger, healthier, and more comfortable in your own skin. The next time you feel a bit of pressure building up or hear a surprising sound escape, don't cringe. Instead, think back to everything you've learned here. From physics at high altitudes to methane chemistry, from microbiome individuality to the cultural history of humor, your fart is more than just a noise. It's a story of your body at work. So here's to science, to curiosity, and yes, to farts. May you go forward a little wiser, a little less embarrassed, and a lot more appreciative of the everyday miracles happening inside you. And if you're watching or listening, smile right now, because you're part of a global community of people who breathe, eat, digest, and yes, fart. Let that be your takeaway. This most human of experiences is also one of the most universal. Whether it's loud or silent, smelly or mild, public or private, your flatulence links you to every other person on this planet. And in that way, maybe it's not something to hide, but something to marvel at. The quirky, funny, essential sign that you are alive. Thank you for taking this journey with us. Now, let's all take a deep breath, laugh a little, and remember that even the smallest, silliest details of our bodies are worth exploring. Science doesn't have to be dry, and health doesn't have to be hidden. When we bring them together, with a dash of humor, we all come out a little better informed, a little healthier, and a lot more human.